want to talk about. I really want to talk about how we achieve an ideal society. How do we get to that heaven? 'Cause I've already lived it in my heart. I've already seen it, and I want to share it with others because I don't hear people talking the way I do. So I feel like I got to get out there and I got to say some things in a way that perhaps they will sow some seeds or inspire thought or provoke thought, whatever the case may be. But you understand, let's say God was running the banking system. God owned all the monetary fiscal policy worldwide, okay? And he was the one that was doling out the goodies, okay? How exactly would that be in your mind? Okay, you need to ask yourself, whose planet is this? Establish that. Whenever you get into a discussion on economics with people, you want to first sit them down and say, okay, let's establish whose planet is this anyhow? And let's remember, there's really no such thing as ownership because we're all passing through. So this idea that you can keep anything that you ever attain in this world is absurdist on its face. You can't own anything if you can't keep it. You can't even keep your own body, folks. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You can't even keep your own body. Right now, anything could happen to me. One of these trees I'm standing next to could fall on me. Psycho could come and shoot me. Someone could run up with a machete, cut my head off. A stray bullet. I mean, anything. A meteor could hit me, for crying out loud. A plane could hit me. There's 1,000,001 ways that I could perish. Okay, I'm standing next to a river. I mean, for all I know, somebody stuck a rogue crocodile in there, got too big to take care of, and he's going to come up and swallow me up right now. Okay, the point is that it's a very tenuous existence. Okay, and we're here for a little while, and that little while might be up today. Okay? And we should all look at things squarely. That's not being negative to say that. How is it negative to state a scientific fact? That you might be dead today. I might be dead today. That's just the reality we have. Now, death, it should be understood in Scripture, is spoken of as sleep. The two are intermixed. It's like Jesus with his friend Lazarus that had been dead for 4 days. He was starting to stink. See, death is not real. Jesus proved that through his resurrection. So when he resurrected Lazarus and people were mocking Jesus, saying, "You can't, this is ridiculous. He stinks now, he's rotting." And Jesus did it. He had the power of God in his hands and in his voice, and he commanded him to rise by that power, and sure enough, God put those molecules back the way they needed to be for Lazarus to rise up and live again, to prove to us. Not because it was so important to save Lazarus. This was all evidence for us to see that God is real and he has that power over life and death. So don't get too hung up on the fact that we're going to die. Just get hung up on the fact that it's temporary. And that if we shared this planet, okay, and I believe that's what God would have us do, we would all be born, if you want to put it in dollars and cents, which is pretty stupid because money has no intrinsic value, mega billionaires, okay? Mega billionaires, perhaps we'd be trillionaires. But if we divided this earth in land and sea, and we all got our fair share from, say, you wanted a swath out of the four corners of the earth, okay, because you want a chunk over here on the, the South Pacific Islands, and you want the chunk over here in the Northwest, the Great Pacific Northwest, up around Alaska, right? But wherever you want your 4 chunks, you get them. You can do what you want, but nobody's going to be screwing up the planet. It's not like we're going to go out there polluting. This has all been foisted on us by a gaggle of creeps that have been running this world for thousands of years. Their method of operation is money mainly. This is how they get away with their crimes. Folks, I'm going to put this as simply as I can. But you've really got to consider what I'm saying. Am I insane, or is it like it's written that God has not given me a spirit of timidity, but of a sound mind and love, okay? And that is what I have. And you have that too. If you choose to be a decent, upright, honorable, righteous human being that cares about your fellow man, you will do the same thing, okay? Because that's all I'm doing. I'm just caring about people. And I want the best for everybody because I know that the happier you are, the better your lot in life, the better my lot in life. It goes hand in hand. It's just the way it is. It's like an immutable law of the universe. These are the truths that are spoken by Jesus. That you understand. It's like mathematics. You know, it doesn't vary. It's just the way it is. So if you believe the wrong answer to a mathematical problem, does that make it right? No, but it sure is establishing the fact that you believe you're right when the truth of the matter is you're not right. You're wrong, because there can only be one answer. And the answer is that the happier you are, truly happy, then the happier I am, the happier she is, the happier he is, the happier we all are, because that's the way it is. It's like a family. And if one family member is in distress, you understand that the whole family is in distress. And that's how we need to see this thing. It doesn't matter what color you are, okay? It doesn't matter what faith you are, whether you have no faith. Okay, it doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what political affiliation you are. Okay, these truths are for all of us, because we are one family. And your welfare is literally another person's welfare. It is inextricably entwined. It is the way God made it. Okay, just like he laid out our solar system that performs better than the finest Swiss watch, okay, so too are these truths that I'm telling you. And here we go. Every problem on earth that is not a natural disaster across the board, diseases across the board, accidents across the board, death across the board, predation across the board. We all have to face these very real dangers in the world we live in. But I'm not upset about those things. Okay, even though I believe someday those things will be gone too, because like Jesus said, there's a time coming that's called the renewal of all things, when earth itself is so cleansed that we no longer have punishing heat. Okay, we never again have miserable cold. Okay, we don't have anything negative. We don't have little insects like hornets, yellow jackets, that will defend their nest. They'll attack a god and kill them. So often people are killed by hornet attacks in defending their young. A miserable little insect, folks, that can do that in this world. But all that stuff, I believe, someday will be gone. But I'm not talking about those things that are across the table for all of us have to face, because that's just the way it is. That's just accepting the reality of the planet, the dangerous planet that we're all born on. No, folks, I'm talking about the unnecessary human suffering. And first and foremost is impoverishment. Remember, folks, the people that are the poorest out there are some of the hardest working people working on minimum wage jobs. Hopeless. They've basically legalized slavery. That's why I say it's worse than slavery today. Because now it's done openly, overtly. It used to be they had to, hey, if you were doing something wrong, you got a slave shop going, you had to be discreet and careful because the law would come after you. Now it's in everybody's face. Do you realize, folks, if you're making $8 an hour, do you realize that you're going to clear about $1,000, is it, after taxes? And then people's rent. They got their rent. There's no protections at all out there. People say, oh, rent control, the guy's a socialist. I say, how would you like it if you got rid of the Public Utilities Commission and they could raise your utility rates until you couldn't afford to have electricity? That's my point. And it's the same with rents. Whether it's your cost of housing, the mainstream media is always reporting it as a good thing because they're liars and idiots. It's their own self-interest. They're mostly homeowners, okay? But if your landlord keeps raising your cost of living until you've got to say, please don't, I'll have to move out. I'll be in my car, I'll be in the bushes. How does that feel? Now, does it make any difference whether that's the landlord doing that to you or if it's your real estate agent that sold you an overpriced house and the bankers go along with it because they want to dump as much money on the public as possible? That's a fact. That's how they make their money, is by renting money, okay? Or let's say it's the tax assessor's office. Okay, let's say I get with a gang and I say, hey, listen, I got this white collar thing. They respect white collar crime, you know what I mean? So, hey, let's get together and we'll take over the tax assessor's office. We'll jack up everybody's property taxes till they gotta move out. And then we move our kids into those houses. How would you like that? How would you like that? So all of you think long and hard about what I'm saying. See, we are intentionally impoverished. The people that deserve to be economically exalted, in my mind, if anybody does, it's the working class. So I'm tired of hearing about the middle class. We've got two classes in California, and this is the way the rest of the country and the planet's going. We've got home ownership, which has been the long-standing greatest measure of prosperity. And then we've got the dirt poor, which means you don't own any property, okay? That's what you've got, two classes, the prosperous and the dirt poor. That's the way it is, folks. So wake up to what I'm saying. And I know I'm making sense. I've studied this problem long and hard, and I know what it's all about. So then you got the government, okay, setting up agencies so purportedly to protect the poor, while our politicians are allowing the banks to rubber stamp everything that they want, everything that the banksters, the top policymakers, the Federal Reserve Bank, the most powerful bank in the world, because we in America have the world reserve currency. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It's the most powerful country in the world, so we're screwing up economies all over the world with the policies that emanate from these people that our politicians, who are supposed to be serving the people, rubber stamp. Do you understand what I'm saying? So then they set up these agencies like the Housing Authority. You got Section 8 out there. You got various city, county, state, federal programs to assist the poor with food stamps and all this. But one thing they won't let you have is sound currency. Sound currency requires checks and balances. It's imperative. There's no way around it. You've got to have some way to hold people's feet to the fire when they manipulate markets and they collude and they fix prices, because it's in their interest to do this. Do you get how that works? It's really very, very simple. And it's so simple, it's sickening. So the fact is, folks, is that all of our problems are highly solvable, easily, simply solvable. In 5 minutes, I could create a tax code that 99.999% of people would go for. Do you understand? So why isn't it? Why is it we got the best and brightest, these Harvard graduates out there, and they, they can't figure it out. We just don't know. We don't know what the hell's going on. They're liars, folks, liars. Who is the father of lies? Satan. So who are these people working for? Obama, he's just a front man for these people. All these politicians, all these faces in the media, they're just patsies, okay? They're just towing the line because it gives them the advantage. They make profit from it. This is their job security. Do you understand how this works? So think of all the high-paying jobs out there that are revolving around the problems. This is what I want you to understand. Think about it. Name a problem that won't go away. Poverty. It won't go away because people have high-paying jobs in the poverty field. What do you think those people at the Housing Authority get paid? These are government jobs. They got liberal pension plans. Okay, I mean, these people are making, teachers always complain, and, I think their pay is kind of crappy, but if you look at the fact they can retire really early, I don't know how many years, but it's early, I know that, and then collect these pensions for life, they're getting paid several $100s an hour if you include their pension plans. And a lot of these government workers are the same way. And so who's ultimately paying that? Okay, we're all paying it.